The drama surrounding the Indiana Fever has reached a boiling point, and this time, it's not just about a bad season or an early playoff exit. It's about an identity crisis, a power struggle, and the franchise's decision to tear everything apart and start over. Just hours after being eliminated, the Fever dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the WNBA. 8 players, gone. Overnight. No warning, no leaks, just chaos. The announcement hit fans like a thunderclap. Some were stunned into silence, others enraged, and even rival coaches were blindsided. How could a team that had shown flashes of potential suddenly burn it all down? Inside Indiana's front office, this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was the culmination of months of frustration, tension, and conflicting visions. The Fever had entered the season with high hopes. Caitlin Clark, the generational phenom, was supposed to be their ticket to redemption. Instead, they found themselves trapped in the same cycle of mediocrity, a system that felt too rigid for a player built on instinct and improvisation. Head coach Stephanie White's structured offense clashed with Clark's natural rhythm, creating a tug-of-war between order and chaos. For a while, it worked well enough to keep them competitive, but the chemistry was off. The spark that made Caitlin Clark the face of modern basketball was being dimmed by a system that didn't trust her to lead. When the final buzzer sounded on their season, the silence in the locker room was deafening. The mood was heavy, the air thick with uncertainty. Players who had given everything suddenly realized their time might be up. Behind closed doors, the front office had already made its move. The writing was on the wall for weeks. Disagreements between White and management over rotations, playing time, and philosophy had reached their breaking point. Management believed the team had lost its identity, that it was built for survival instead of dominance. And in a league driven by stars, that was unacceptable. The decision to cut 8 players wasn't just about performance. It was symbolic. It was a declaration that the Caitlin Clark era would no longer be delayed or diluted. The Fever were done experimenting. They were going to build a system that revolved around their star, even if that meant ripping everything apart to do it. Names started leaking online: Bree Hall, Shea Petty, Natasha Howard, Lexi Hull, Sydney Colson, Ariel Powers, Dewana Bonner, and Khadija Cave. Each name carried its own story, its own heartbreak. Some were veterans with championship experience, others young players who never got a real chance. But together, their exits represented a seismic shift. Fans immediately took to social media, the debate raging like wildfire. Was this genius or madness? Some called it the boldest rebuild in WNBA history. Others accused the front office of losing control. Hashtags like #ClarkEra and #FeverPurge began trending within hours. ESPN analysts dissected every angle. Was Indiana making a power move to unleash Clark, or panicking under pressure from fans and sponsors? Because make no mistake, Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a brand, a phenomenon, and the reason every Fever game sells out. The front office knew it, the league knew it, and that reality changes everything. At the center of it all was Stephanie White, a coach once praised for her discipline and attention to detail, now under intense scrutiny. Her system, structured, methodical, predictable, had become the lightning rod for criticism. The front office wanted to go faster, freer, more creative. White insisted the team wasn't ready. That clash turned into a cold war inside the organization. Insiders say meetings got heated, voices were raised, and by the end of the season, the relationship between the coach and front office was beyond repair. One executive reportedly told colleagues, "We can't waste another year. Either we build around Caitlin, or we start over." And start over they did. The mass exodus didn't just clear the roster, it cleared the books. Millions in cap space freed up overnight, giving the Fever a blank slate. But this wasn't just financial strategy. It was cultural surgery. The veterans who once controlled the locker room dynamic were gone. The new direction was unmistakable. This was Caitlin Clark's team now, built around her instincts, her pace, her command of the court. Players who thrived on structure would be replaced by those who could read, react, and move in sync with her style. Management wanted floor spacers, high IQ teammates, shooters who could stretch the defense and feed off her playmaking. The blueprint was simple: replicate Iowa's read and react system on a professional stage. Behind the scenes, Clark's quiet frustration had not gone unnoticed. Though always diplomatic in interviews, Her words carried weight. When she talked about wanting to just play basketball again, it wasn't a throwaway line, it was a message. The front office heard it loud and clear. The offense would now revolve around her instincts, not rigid play calling. For the first time since she joined the WNBA, she would be allowed to be herself again. Kelsey Mitchell remains one of the few veterans expected to stay, a steady hand and proven scorer who has earned her place through loyalty and grit. Her chemistry with Clark grew late in the season, and the front office sees her as a crucial mentor. Alongside her is Aaliyah Boston, the steady powerhouse in the paint, whose bond with Clark represents the foundation of the Fever's future. Together, they are the franchise's heartbeat. Clark the fire, Boston the calm. Every move the Fever make from here on out will be to amplify that duo. Still, power comes with pressure. The Caitlin Clark experiment has become the most scrutinized storyline in women's basketball. Every game will be a referendum on this rebuild. Every loss will spark debate about whether the Fever made a mistake cutting so deep, so fast. But inside the organization, there's no turning back. This isn't just a team rebuild, it's a total rebrand. The Fever aren't chasing consistency anymore. They're chasing greatness. Financially, the timing couldn't be more strategic. Clark's arrival has turned Indiana into a gold mine. Ticket sales are up 300%. Merchandise is selling out nationwide. The team's social media engagement rivals entire NBA franchises. The Fever know they have a small window to capitalize on this cultural moment, and they're going all in. Ownership, led by executives like Amber Cox, is determined to make this franchise a modern powerhouse. Disciplined spending, smart signings, and a roster built to last. They're not just building around Caitlin Clark the player, they're building around Caitlin Clark the movement. But even with all the excitement, there's risk. If this experiment fails, it won't just be a setback, it could define the franchise for years. Every decision is under a microscope, and every headline feeds the narrative. Was this about basketball or business? Is Caitlin Clark being empowered or being burdened? Only time will tell. Still, one thing is undeniable. The Fever finally feel alive again. The energy around the team is different. Practices are faster. The offense feels freer. The weight of the past is gone, replaced by something raw and electric. The kind of hope that only comes when a franchise decides to stop surviving and start believing. This isn't just a rebuild, it's a revolution. The Indiana Fever have cleared the decks, drawn their line in the sand, and placed their future squarely in the hands of one extraordinary player. If it works, this moment will be remembered as the night the Fever found their soul again. If it fails, it'll be a cautionary tale about betting everything on one star. But either way, it's going to be unforgettable. So, what do you think? Was the Fever's mass overhaul a stroke of genius or a sign of desperation? Can Caitlin Clark's leadership and talent carry this franchise into a new golden era? Or will the pressure prove too much, too soon? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Fever's high-stakes transformation, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories, and ring the bell so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding basketball drama.